6 months ago. A 74-year-old retired school principal sat across from me in my clinic. She was exhausted. Not from her busy life, she'd slowed down for that. She was exhausted because she hadn't slept a full night in over 2 years. Up at 1 a.m., up again at 3 a.m., sometimes a third time before sunrise. She told me she'd stopped drinking water after 4 p.m., she'd cut out coffee entirely, she even started sleeping closer to the bathroom just to make the trips shorter, and her heart health was suffering for it. Because here's what nobody talks about. Broken sleep doesn't just make you tired, it raises your blood pressure, it elevates stress hormones, quietly accelerates the very conditions I spend my career trying to prevent. She was doing everything she thought was right, and none of it was working. I'm Dr. Elliot Marsh, a cardiologist with over 20 years of clinical experience. And what I told her that day is what I'm going to tell you right now. Because somewhere between the research lab and the doctor's office and your bedroom at 2 in the morning, this information never reaches the people who need it most. The problem wasn't her bladder. The problem was her pelvic floor, her circulation, and a simple mechanical pattern she could change starting that very night. Here's what we're covering today. 3 seated exercises. You don't need to get on the floor, you don't need equipment, you don't need to be athletic, that directly address the root cause of nighttime urination in adults over 60. We're counting down from number 3 to number 1. And number 1? It's the one that surprised my patient most. The one she said felt almost too easy to possibly work. Stay with me, because after the 3 exercises I have 2 bonus strategies that most people never hear about, including one that involves the timing of something you're probably already doing every single day. Let me take 60 seconds to explain what's actually happening inside your body at night. Because once you understand this, everything I'm about to show you will make perfect sense. Think of your bladder like a balloon sitting inside a bowl. That bowl is made of muscle, your pelvic floor. Those muscles are strong and toned. They support the balloon from below, holding it in the right position, keeping the pressure even, giving the bladder room to fill properly before signaling your brain. But when those muscles weaken, and they do weaken with age, especially after 60, the bowl starts to sag. The balloon tilts, pressure builds unevenly, and your brain gets an urgent message long before the bladder is anywhere close to full. That's why you wake up. Not because you drank too much water, not because something is broken, because the support system has gotten weaker over time. Now here's what makes this worse. In adults over 60, fluid that collects in the legs during the day, from sitting, from mild swelling, from reduced circulation, gets reabsorbed into the bloodstream when you lie down at night. Your kidneys then process that extra fluid, and it goes straight to your bladder. So you're not just dealing with a weak pelvic floor, a flood of fluid arriving right when you're trying to sleep. But here's what should motivate you. Both of these mechanisms respond to targeted movement. The right exercises, done at the right time, can change what happens in your body tonight. That's not a promise I make lightly. That's what the research shows, and what I've seen in thousands of patients. Let's start with number 3. Now, I want to tell you about something most people overlook. When my patients first hear this one, they're skeptical. I understand that completely, because it doesn't look like exercise. It barely feels like exercise. But give me a moment, because the science behind it is remarkable. Number 3 is seated heel raises. Sit up straight in a firm chair, both feet flat on the floor, about hip-width apart. Now, slowly raise both heels off the ground. Just your heels, toes stay down, hold for 2 seconds, and lower them back down slowly. That's 1. Let's do a few together. Up, hold, and down. Up, hold, and down. Up, hold, and down. You might feel a gentle tightening up through your calves, maybe a little warmth beginning to build. That warmth is not accidental. That's exactly what we want. Here's why this works. Your calf muscles are sometimes called the second heart, and I mean that almost literally. Every time those muscles contract, they squeeze the veins running through your lower legs and pump blood and fluid back upward toward your heart. Think of it like squeezing a tube of toothpaste from the bottom up. When you do this in the early evening, you're draining the fluid that is pooled in your legs throughout the day before you lie down. Less fluid reaching the kidneys at night, less urine produced while you sleep, fewer trips to the bathroom. A study published in the Journal of the American Heart Association found that leg muscle activation in the evening was associated with meaningful reductions in nocturnal fluid redistribution in older adults. Write that down. Evening leg movement reduces nighttime fluid load. The common mistake I see, people do this in the morning, when it has almost no effect on nighttime urination. The timing matters. Do this in the early evening, ideally between 5 p.m. and 7 p.m. 3 sets of 15 repetitions. It takes under 4 minutes. No special shoes, no mat, just a chair. This next one surprises almost every patient I mention it to, because it targets the actual pelvic floor directly, and most people over 60 have never been taught how to engage it properly. Number 2 is seated pelvic tilts with breath. Stay in your chair, sit with your feet flat, hands resting on your thighs. Now I want you to imagine you're trying to stop the flow of urine midstream. That subtle internal squeeze. That's your pelvic floor engaging. Don't hold your breath. Don't tighten your stomach or your glutes. Just that internal lift. Now here's the exercise. As you inhale slowly through your nose, gently rock your pelvis forward, letting your lower back curve slightly. And as you exhale through your mouth, tilt your pelvis back, flatten your lower back against the chair. And at the same moment, gently engage that pelvic floor squeeze. Hold the squeeze for 3 seconds at the end of the exhale. Then release as you inhale again, and repeat. Let's try it together. Inhale, rock forward. Exhale, tilt back, squeeze. Hold 2, 3, release. Inhale forward. Exhale, tilt, squeeze. Hold 2, 3, release. Feel that? That subtle engagement deep in the pelvis. That is the muscle doing the work. Here's what's happening. The pelvic floor acts as a valve. A strong, responsive pelvic floor can defer the urge to urinate, buying your bladder time to actually fill properly before you need to go. But a weak or poorly coordinated pelvic floor sends false urgency signals to the brain. You feel like you need to go, urgently, when the bladder is only 30 or 40% full. By training this muscle with movement and breath together, you're not just strengthening it. You're teaching your nervous system to interpret bladder signals more accurately. One of my patients, a 68-year-old retired nurse, someone who absolutely understood anatomy, told me she'd never once been taught how to actually feel and engage her pelvic floor properly until she started doing exactly this exercise. Within 3 weeks, her nighttime trips dropped from 4 to 1. The common mistake here is brute force. People clench everything. Stomach, glutes, legs. That actually works against you. The breath is the key. The exhale is what creates the right internal pressure to engage the pelvic floor correctly. Soften everything else. Let the breath do the heavy lifting. Do this daily. 10 repetitions, once in the morning, once in the early evening. That's it. My friends, before we get to number 1, please take a moment and hit the like button. It helps this reach people who are losing sleep and have no idea there's something they can do about it tonight. Subscribe if you haven't already, because every week I put out honest, practical health information I wish every one of my patients had sitting on their kitchen table. Now let's go to number 1. Before I describe this last exercise, I want to ask you something. How many times do you get up at night? Once? 3 times? More? Drop your number in the comments. You are not alone in this. I see these numbers every single week in my clinic, and I want you to know, there is nothing shameful about this, but there is something you can do about it starting tonight. Number 1 is the seated butterfly stretch with pelvic floor awareness. This one works on 2 levels simultaneously, and that's why it's number 1. It releases the hip flexors and inner thigh muscles that attach directly to the pelvic floor, reducing the chronic tension that prevents those muscles from working efficiently. And it trains deep body awareness that ties everything else together. Sit at the edge of your chair. Place the soles of your feet together, letting your knees fall gently outward, like a butterfly's wings. Rest your hands on your knees or your inner thighs. Don't force anything. Just let gravity and the weight of your legs do the work. Now, take a slow breath in through your nose for 4 counts. As you exhale for 6 counts, let your knees sink just a little bit lower. Not pushed, just released. At the bottom of the exhale, do that gentle internal pelvic floor squeeze we practiced. Hold for 2 seconds. Then let everything release as you inhale again. That's 1 cycle. Let's do 3 together. Inhale, 4 counts. Exhale slowly, let the knees drop. Squeeze at the bottom. Hold, release. Again. Inhale, exhale, release, squeeze, hold, release. 1 more. Inhale and exhale, drop, squeeze, hold, and release. Now sit up and notice the warmth spreading through your inner thighs and the base of your pelvis. That is the tissue responding, opening, loosening, becoming more pliable. Here's the science that genuinely excited me when I first read the research. Chronic tightness in the hip flexors and adductors, the muscles of the inner thigh, creates a constant background tension against the pelvic floor. It's like trying to use a muscle that's already half contracted. It can never reach full strength or full relaxation. And a pelvic floor that can't fully relax is a pelvic floor that holds urine urgency signals on a hair trigger. A study published in the Journal of Urology found that pelvic floor flexibility and coordination, not just strength, was a significant predictor of urinary control in adults over 65. Think of it this way: a great pump needs both the ability to squeeze and the ability to fully release. If it can only do one, it fails at the job. The common mistake: people rush this one. They bounce their knees, they force the stretch, they turn it into a race. This is not a race. The slower you go, the more the nervous system relaxes, the deeper the benefit. 6 minutes of slow, conscious movement beats 20 seconds of force every time. If your hips are very tight, you don't need your feet to touch. Just let the knees fall as far as they comfortably will. Over days and weeks, that range will increase on its own. Do this one at night, specifically within an hour of going to bed. That timing is intentional. You want the hip and pelvic floor release fresh when your body lies down. If you remember nothing else, remember this: strength without flexibility in the pelvic floor gives you half a solution. This exercise gives you the other half. Now, the 2 bonus strategies I promised you. These are quick but powerful, and they work alongside these exercises to make everything more effective. Bonus number 1. Elevation before bed. 30 to 45 minutes before you lie down, elevate your legs above the level of your heart. You can use pillows on the couch or lie on your bed with your feet up on a rolled blanket. What you're doing is using gravity to move fluid from your legs back into circulation before you're horizontal for the night. Your kidneys process it while you're still awake. It arrives at your bladder before you're asleep. You handle it before you turn the lights off, not at 2 a.m. This is simple physics working for you instead of against you. Even 20 minutes makes a measurable difference. And bonus number 2, strategic fluid timing. This isn't about drinking less water. Dehydration is dangerous, especially for heart health. This is about front-loading your fluids. Aim to take in the majority of your daily fluid intake before 4 p.m. After 4 p.m., small sips are fine. Herbal teas with no caffeine are fine. But large glasses of water, soups, and juicy fruits? Move those earlier in the day. You'll stay just as hydrated. But the processing happens on your schedule, not your bladder's. Now, I want to stop here for a moment because something important needs to be said. Remember that retired school principal I told you about? The one who hadn't slept properly in 2 years? 6 months after that appointment, she came back. And she looked different before she even sat down. There was color in her face, ease in the way she carried herself. She told me her nighttime trips had gone from 3 or 4 down to 1, and sometimes 0. Her blood pressure had improved. She was sleeping in longer stretches. She said, and I've thought about this often since, why didn't anyone just show me this? It took 20 minutes. That question stays with me. It's why I do this. Every single one of these 3 exercises works through the same fundamental mechanism: restoring proper pelvic floor function and reducing the nocturnal fluid load that triggers your bladder at night. That's it. That's the whole game. 3 different movements, all leading to the same room. Fix the root, and everything shifts. You can start tonight. You have everything you need right now. A chair, a few minutes, and the information that should have reached you a long time ago. Let's bring this all together because I don't want you walking away with a list you'll forget by morning. Here's your daily plan. Seated heel raises, 3 sets of 15 repetitions, done between 5 and 7 p.m., 4 minutes. Seated pelvic tilts with breath, 10 repetitions, once in the morning, once in the early evening, 5 minutes total. Seated butterfly stretch with pelvic floor awareness, 6 slow breath cycles, within 1 hour of bedtime, 6 minutes, and if you can add it, legs elevated 30 minutes before bed. Total active time, under 15 minutes a day. That's it. No gym, no floor, no special equipment. Now here's what I want you to do right now. Pick just one, not all 3, not the bonus tips as well. Just one that feels easiest to start tonight. Maybe it's the heel raises because you're already sitting in the evening. Maybe it's the butterfly stretch before bed. Just one. Sustainable change comes from one small decision made consistently until it becomes invisible. Not tomorrow. Not after your next appointment. Tonight. Which of these are you going to try first? Tell me in the comments. I read every single one. If this helped you, share it. Someone in your life is losing sleep over this and has no idea there's something they can do. And subscribe. Every week, honest, practical information I wish every patient I've ever seen had access to long before they needed it. When you've been doing these exercises for 2 weeks, come back and tell me how many times you're getting up. I want to hear your before and after. One last thing, and this is important. Everything I've shared today is general information based on current research and my clinical experience. It is not a replacement for your personal medical care. Nighttime urination can sometimes indicate conditions that need direct medical attention. Please do not change or stop any medication without speaking to your doctor first. Bring this information to your next appointment. Have the conversation. Your doctor is your partner in this. There's another video I think you'll find incredibly valuable. It covers the connection between nighttime urination and heart health in older adults specifically, something thousands of viewers have told me changed how they think about their nightly routine. I'll see you there.